So what is the evidence for competition actually occurring in ecological communities that have insects in them? Turns out this has been actually a hotly contested topic in insect ecology broadly and in ecology more generally as well. We can start here with this cartoon of what ecological niches might look like in a Hutchinsonian type of a space. Here's one niche dimension. This might be something like temperature or carbohydrates or something like that in a plant. And this might be something like the amount of light that might reach an area, or percent of concentration of proteins in a food source, things like that. And each one of these circles is the needs of a particular species. And again, as we talked about in the previous video, the area of overlap here is the area where both species would be utilizing similar types of traits or characteristics of this environment, and where they might actually be vying for literally the same space or the same resource. And this is where competition, the concept of competition, would actually take place. Outside of this, you might not get competition. I'm going to spare you a lot of this, but there was a lot of research that happened early in the 50s and 60s that tried to actually estimate how much of that overlap is allowable before two species could actually not coexist. But what you might expect is, if you go out into nature and actually look at the resource requirements, the niche dimensions of particular species, that if you pay a price for having a lot of overlap with the resource needs of another species, that over time there should be divergence in the utilization of that particular resource, both in space and in time. That's what I mean here by the spatiotemporal divergence of the patterns of resource use. And really where the debate has centered on is competition really what is responsible for that? That is, the fitness cost of having a competitor actually utilizing that same resource? Or is it just by chance that these patterns of resource use may have evolved, and it makes it look like competition was the result of that? One of the real problems in studying competition is if these intense interactions in situations where overlap of resource use actually takes place used to occur and have caused differentiation. If we go into a community and actually try to study that, we should see relatively little of that actually happening in current time. Because if it did, it would be selected against. One species would win and the other species would lose, again, based on that competitive exclusion principle. Joe Connell, who was one of the people who studied this for a long time, said this, which is, in the past, when I pointed out to some ecologists that competition seemed to be of little importance as a mechanism determining a particular species distribution, they often gave me the following answer. The reason, they said, for my inability to find evidence for competition was because it had already been eliminated by past coevolutionary divergence between those species. And this is what Joe Connell referred to as the ghost of competition past. Competition was there once upon a time, but we don't see it today. What we see is this niche differentiation because selection has already caused the divergence of these niches to occur. It's very hard to prove competition or other kinds of interactions in the past.